The sun was setting behind the mountains as for friends Alex, Matthew, Jones, and Roseberry arrived at the small village of Kotipuram. They had heard about the village's picturesque beauty and its vibrant market, and they wanted to experience it for themselves. As they walked through the village, they could feel the friendly atmosphere and the welcoming smiles of the villagers. They were mesmerized by the colorful houses and the aroma of the delicious food that filled the air. However, as the night fell, the village began to transform. The friends could feel a strange energy in the air, and they could see the shadows moving in the corners of their eyes. The villagers became distant, and their welcoming smiles turned into suspicious glares. The friends tried to ignore their instincts and enjoy their stay, but they couldn't shake off. One night, as they were walking through the village, they heard a voice whispering their names. They looked around, but they couldn't see anyone. Suddenly, a figure emerged from the shadows. It was an old woman with wrinkled skin and a toothless smile. She introduced herself as the village's wise wool. The friends were hesitant at first, but they couldn't resist the temptation of learning about their futures. The wise woman looked at their palms and said, "You have come to Kotipuram for a reason. You will find what you are looking for, but be careful, for there are dark secrets hidden in these stir." The friends were intrigued by the wise woman's words, and they decided to investigate the village's secrets. They spoke to the villagers, but no one would talk to them about the village's history. They could feel the villagers' fear and suspicion, and they realized that they would have to find the tea. As they delved deeper into the village's mysteries, they began to notice strange occurrences. The shadows seemed to be moving on their own, and they could hear whispers in the wind. They tried to brush off their fears, but the village's eerie atmosphere was getting to them. One night, as they were walking through the village, they saw a group of people huddled around a small fire, chanting in a language they didn't understand. The friends were terrified, but they knew they had to find out what was going on. They cautiously approached the group and saw a woman lying on the ground. She was covered in bruises and cuts, and her face was pale. The villagers had gathered around her, trying to heal her wounds. The friends were stunned by the sight of the woman, and they could feel the air around them getting colder and colder. They wanted to leave, but something inside them told them to stay and help the woman. They approached the group, offering their assistance. The villagers were hesitant at first, but they could see the sincerity in the group's eyes. They allowed the friends to help the woman, and as they worked together, they realized that they had found a purpose. They had always been searching for something more in their lives, and they had found it in Kotipuram. Over the next few days, the friends stayed in the village, helping the villagers with their daily tasks. They learned about the village's history and its people. The villagers were grateful for their help and welcomed them with open arms. However, the friends soon discovered that the village was not as welcoming as it seemed. One night, as they were walking back to their lodging, they heard strange noises coming from the woods. They stopped in their tracks, listening to the rustling leaves and the howling wind. As the friends left Kotipuram, they felt a sense of relief wash over them. They had uncovered the dark secrets of the village and survived the night. However, as they drove away, they noticed that the forest seemed to be following them, with the trees and the shadows reaching out to grab them. The road became treacherous and winding, and the car started to shake violently. Suddenly, they saw a figure standing in the middle of the road. It was the old woman with the toothless smile from Kotipuram. She beckoned to them with a bony finger, and the friends felt compelled to follow her. They got out of the car and followed the old woman into the woods. The trees whispered secrets in their ears, and the ground felt alive beneath their feet. The old woman led them to a clearing, where a group of villagers were waiting for them. They were surrounded by dark figures with glowing eyes, panting in a language that made their skin crawl. The friends realized too late that they had stumbled upon a ritual, and they were the sacrifice. They tried to run, but they were outnumbered and outmatched. The villagers dragged them to the center of the clearing, where they were bound to a stake. The friends screamed in terror as the villagers performed a dark and ancient ritual. The sky turned black as the villagers summoned a dark force from beyond. The friends felt the ground shake beneath them as a vortex of darkness engulfed them. They screamed in agony as their bodies were consumed by the dark energy, and their souls were claimed by the village of Kotipuram forever. As the vortex dissipated, the villagers looked up at the sky, and a sinister smile spread across their faces. They had succeeded in their ritual, and they had gained the power they sought. The friends were never seen again, and their fate remained a mystery. The village of Kotipuram had claimed its latest victims, and it would continue to do so for centuries to come.